I would like to talk about a new ghost that is haunting Europe right now. That's the ghost of deindustrialization. Because if you believe a good portion of the media coverage out there, including there, our climate and energy policies are actually responsible for a good portion of this threat. And I'd like to explore whether that's really true and see how fast we can get to an answer in the next 5 minutes. Europe has among the most ambitious climate targets in the world. We want to bring down emissions by 55% until 2030 and become the first carbon neutral continent by the year 2050, in Germany even 5 years earlier. Now, to understand how ambitious these targets are, let's maybe explore sector by sector what would actually need to happen for them to materialize. To reach these, no industrial company in Europe should ever again reinvest into a fossil asset by the end of this decade, in Germany essentially today. We need to stop selling new ICE passenger cars in Europe around the year 2035. That's the current plan. In Germany, closer to 2030, that is definitely not. We have to stop installing and replacing oil and gas boilers by the end of this decade. We have to triple to quadruple the expansion of renewables annually. Now, to reach these targets, both Europe overall as well as the current German government have over the past 2-3 years enacted probably historically ambitious climate legislation across all sectors. But yet, despite all of this, that has gotten us closer, but we're still not where we need to be. And just to give an example of this, it's not representative, but I think illustrates this. In Germany, we want to reach 15 million electric vehicles on the road by the year 2030. We still have to sell almost 14 million of these. Between today and end of 2030, we will sell 18 million vehicles. Our current policies will not incentivize 80% of all car buyers to buy electric over the next 5 years. If we take these targets seriously, we need to accelerate everywhere. Now, will this hurt our economies? In our view, it actually won't. And this has 2 main reasons. The first one is to reach these targets, we have to invest a lot. And in an economy, investments are generally not considered something bad, especially because these investments will structurally replace the consumption of fossil fuels, which we today predominantly need to import, it's bad for GDP, with capital goods like wind turbines, which we to a much larger degree manufacture here in Europe. That's good for GDP. And in economies like Germany, like Europe, that have to import the vast majority of their energy today, but where the capital to fund these investments in comparison is relatively cheap, the net impact of this transformation should, if anything, be positive. This notion and narrative that climate action hurts industry, in our view, is far too simplistic. Of course, there are sectors out there for which this transformation is predominantly a threat, a risk. Energy-intensive industries like steel, like chemicals, like metals, they really risk deindustrialization. They will need our support through this current predominantly fossil energy crisis, but also to transform thereafter. But a much larger share of our industrial value creation is not created in these industries. It's created in industries, for example, that are a lot less impacted by this transformation. It's actually most of them. Or in industries like auto, which depends with its life on this transformation working out. There is no chance that the European auto sector can continue to stay a growth engine for European economies if it does not master the transition to electric mobility. And to help them do this, we would actually have to electrify faster, not slower. Or in sectors like mechanical engineering and energy, Maschinenbau. Those are actually among our largest industrial sectors overall. And here, this transition creates new markets. Here it can create new jobs. Here it can create growth. Smart European policy would understand this transformation and climate policy also as an engine for growth, not as an obstacle to it. It would protect industries where the risk of deindustrialization is actually material and support new industries to make sure that all of this growth actually materializes here in Europe. If we take a step back, the mood right now, I'd say, is rather damp. But Europe is at the forefront of a transformation that has to happen everywhere around the world. Were we a company, that might be exactly where we want to be. So if we get this right, I believe our best days are still ahead, also for our industries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burchardt. Stay with me just a second. Just 1 second. That gives us hope, I think, should give us hope. But if you look at, you've been talking about the mood. What can we do, what can we all do to get the mood up, especially in economy?
I mean, to me, it's create success stories. I feel that a lot of the investments that the current climate policies are triggering will be triggered. They aren't triggered now, they will be triggered over the course of the next years. And once these actually materialize, once you have more examples to tell of these companies that are growing, that are building new jobs, I would be optimistic that we get out of the slump where we're in right now. But it won't be an easy feat.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for your input, and we will all be working on a success story today. Thank you very much.